this that makes them villains? I could make another video about that. Subscribe if you want to see it. Ask and you shall receive. I recommend checking out my previous Megamind video for the full context of this one. A very interesting aspect of Megamind is the nature of its self-awareness and how it relates to the goals and desires of the two villains of the story. Many of us are aware of the classic superhero formula. Bad guy does something bad that usually endangers the girl, hero beats bad guy, hero gets the girl, rinse and repeat forever.
I think you and I are destined to do this forever.
But an interesting thread is drawn when you look at Megamind's characters based on how they see this cycle. Both of the characters who play the role of villains in this movie are obsessed with the idea of this formula, specifically, one thing from the formula that they want. Megamind, as I pointed out in my One Villainous Scene video, is more obsessed with the role of the villain than anything else. He has no desire for a reward to his efforts or even to win the battle, because getting the battle on its own is what he wants. Sure, when he believes he's killed Metro Man, he celebrates the high of winning, but after declaring that he
can have everything I want and there's no one to stop me,
and a quick montage of indulging himself in his newly conquered city, it becomes clear that Megamind doesn't really want anything. There was never a point to his villainy beyond the fight with the hero, because that's where he felt he had his purpose. As a villain who fights the hero, he can create bombastic shows of battles that interrupt daily life and make people notice him. But as the overlord, he fades into the background as part of normal life. His actions are no longer a special event, they are the norm. And because he has no grand evil plan, beyond putting up with his vandalism, nothing really seems to change for Metro City. In a way, it's more toxic than even regular villains because he has no reason to do what he does other than the feeling that it's all he's good for. He has no ideological master plan, no secret ambition for domination. It's all just about being the bad guy for the sake of being the bad guy. In contrast, we get to see a similar toxic view, but from the perspective of a, and I'm using big air quotes here, hero. Hal is also motivated by the cycle, but he's motivated by what exists at the end of the cycle, the girl. Hal has very little interest in the process and wants to avoid putting in any work, but he believes that by virtue of having superpowers and calling himself a hero, he's entitled to his reward, Roxanne's affection, which is why he goes to see her, expecting her to fall into his arms without even saving her.
There is no us, okay? There will never be an us.
But I have powers. I have a cape. I'm the good guy.
Like I said last time, he's a nice guy. And it's this selfishness that makes it so easy for him to slide into the role of villain. The cycle was always about getting what he wants.
Being a hero is for losers. It's work, 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 24/7, and for what? I only took the gig to get the girl, and it turns out Roxanne doesn't want anything to do with me.
In a way, the difference between them is made clear when Megamind tells Titan that all he has to do is save the girl he likes. He's just as aware of the hero gets the girl trope, to the point of not realizing Roxanne and Metro Man weren't interested in each other. But his focus on the process leads to him advising Hal to do the same, while Hal just wants to skip to the end. But the results would have been the same anyway. Even if he saved Roxanne, he wouldn't be able to accept the fact that that alone won't make her like him.
This
Just
isn't
take a deep
right.
breath and listen
You're
to me for a
supposed to
moment.
be with me.
I'm trying to warn you. Hal?
It's Titan.
If anything, his reaction would be worse. Ironically, it's this opposite fixation on different parts of the superhero story that leads to the two of them switching sides. For Titan, it was simply a matter of which role would allow him to take whatever he wanted with the most ease. However, to understand Megamind's change, we have to look at the attitude of the two other characters involved in the cycle, Metro Man and Roxanne. An interesting thing to note regarding both characters is that they are on some level tired of the cycle that they find themselves in. For Roxanne, she treats the situation more with bored amusement. It's something she's gone through 100 times, and at this point she's not even scared because she knows exactly how the song and dance goes. Metro Man, in contrast, is a lot more existentially tired of the cycle that Megamind has inadvertently trapped him in. Because in his quest to be the center of attention, Megamind needs someone on the side of good who will consistently stop him. And as Megamind took the role of villain, Metro Man was trapped in the role of hero. It makes sense when you consider the relationship between a hero and a villain. The villain always starts the conflict and the hero has to answer the call.
Buddy, there's a yin for every yang. If there's bad, good will rise up against it.
But eventually, Metro Man couldn't deal with the fact that he was ultimately unhappy to spend his life playing the same game with Megamind. So I
got the brilliant idea to fake my death.
Was it unfortunate that Megamind would take over the city? Yes. But Metro Man seems to know his archenemy better than anyone else. He knew the Blue Genius wasn't a bad person, as evidenced from the way they interact outside of the hero-villain game.
Little buddy. Way to go, little buddy. I knew he had it in him.
The good guy characters in the movie are the ones who aren't interested in perpetuating the cycle. Roxanne is bored of it, probably because she realized Megamind won't actually hurt her, and Metro Man actively wants to escape it. But the bad guy characters have a vested interest in maintaining the cycle simply for the sake of what's in the cycle, to the detriment of others.
Oh, girls, you're both pretty. Can I go home now?
Then I realized we had done this same silly charade our entire lives.
Maybe I don't want to be the bad guy anymore. You heard me?
Titan's fall to the dark side was inevitable because he was always just interested in getting what he wants. But Megamind's desire for recognition and his own place in the universe was a more malleable goal. It didn't require being the villain. It makes sense that even before Titan turned evil, after developing his relationship with Roxanne, he was already having second thoughts about being a supervillain. Being a supervillain was always a means to an end for him, and if it got in the way of what he wanted, he would be able to let it go.
But I do know this. The bad guy doesn't get the girl.
Maybe I don't want to be the bad guy anymore.
Inevitably, this led to a clash of the two characters. The hero who just wants to have his desires met, and the villain who just wants to be recognized. Both now on different sides, because in the end, life isn't something that you can go through by playing an endless cycle of hero and villain. Ironically, this doesn't actually end the need for a hero to stop the bad guy, but it gives the conflict a much more solid base because it's not done for the sake of the game, but because there's a bad person who wants to hurt others that needs to be stopped.
This is the last time you make a fool out of me!
I made you a hero. You did the fool thing all by yourself.
In the end, good still rose up against evil, because that's what good does. As a movie, Megamind isn't trying to claim that the idea of heroes and villains is outdated by having more villainous heroes and less malevolent villains. It's looking at such a deconstruction of the genre, not through the lens of saying heroes can be trusted with all their power, but that false heroes who abuse their power are just villains that needs to be stopped. It's more of a reconstruction of the genre. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe and check out my channel for more content. Thank you and good day.
All right, put your hands in the air.